Okay everybody, here are the first few minutes of my 2021 KTM 250 XC TPI. Just got this thing out. I ended up just putting a little bit more air pressure in this thing. I'm working out my air screw, just tuning that, and then tuning my power valve down here. But I noticed in the first few minutes that my ride height on this bike was significantly lower with the valving changes that they've done. I heard a little bit about valving changes, but I turned it all off because I didn't want to know. I wanted to go in fresh. And I could tell this fork was significantly softer than the 2020 version. And so I was only running 120 pounds of PSI, which I know is below what KTM says. But I found on the 2020 fork, air fork, that I liked it around 120 PSI instead of 139, which was standard. This one, I'm like, I'm gonna need more pressure. So I went back to the truck. I didn't bring my stand. I forgot to bring my stand, so I had to improvise a little bit to get the weight off the front wheel. But then I went up to 130, so I added 10 PSI to this, and it is much better. Much better. So now these are my first. I rode the bike for about 4 minutes with that amount of pressure, and I'm like, okay, that's enough for me to leave the vicinity of the truck. I mean, it's always interesting on these maiden rides on a bike. And just like anything else, everything's about tuning. I've got the suspension and clickers set down to, you know, the standard config. I set my sag on this guy, and now we're out here to get her done. It's probably a pretty cold day, but I think I'm wearing too many layers because I'm already starting to sweat just a little bit. But yeah, this one, I put I did the idle screw mod on this bike right away before even riding it. And then I had my air screw turned all the way in, the air bypass screw, which would have the bike as rich as it could be, and it was too rich. It's funny because every one of these things is an individual. On my 20 bikes, that air screw, air bypass screw, is now turned almost all the way in, flush, closed. This one is different. Oh, I about took my goggles off. I reached around, hit my strap. This one I'm having to run different. I'm having to run it around 2.5. Right now I'm about 2.5 turns out. We'll see if that stays. But yeah, each one of these bikes is different, man. You're tuning that air screw, tuning your power valve to try to get a little bit of a rough spot out of the RPM range. I have also just given a little bit of tuning to my power valve. So already in the first half hour of this bike, I've tuned suspension as far as the air pressure, power valve, and my air screw. And now I feel like we're in a much better spot with it. So I was out here in this same spot a couple weeks ago with my sons, Connor and Case. It was on the Sherco. So Sherco 300 SEF. So what I'm doing is just trying to recall exactly how the Sherco fork was handling. Just feel the nuances between that fork and this one. I mean, every bike feels a little different, obviously. And this one was diving and everything with that first you know, set of pressure that I had in there, 120, not enough. Now every rider is different. What I like, you might not like, you know. And the bike isn't running 100% as clean, smooth as my 2020, but I'll get it. I'll get it worked out. Running really good. Now, we're almost there. I think I'll keep playing with my air bypass screw just a little bit and see if I can clean it up. I'll have to stop to do that though. And right now I don't want to stop. I want to roll because I've been doing way too much computer work and not nearly enough riding. And that sun is getting low in the sky, so I don't have a ton of time. This morning was doing emails and doing editing a video that will come out that I needed to get out tomorrow. Tomorrow is a relative term because I'm talking about the actual day tomorrow. By the time you guys see this, the video I'm talking about will have come out a long time ago. It's hard to see because I'm looking straight into the sun sometimes. Have another gear. Breathe just a little bit. Punch down here. Oh, I can't see anything. Looking directly into that sun. Be great visibility the opposite direction.